Hi, this is an intro to my virtual tour of the world class 30 world geography, history and international relations lessons that will take you on a journey to every corner of the globe and hopefully leave you with a lot of knowledge besides. It's a course that is all about providing insights into what places look like, what people are like, and what the history of a country or a region is too. Along the way, we'll learn about capital cities and the world's most important and iconic landmarks. We'll also explore some absolutely incredible scenery across all the different continents of the world. You'll get to know where some of the world's most fascinating animals are. And we'll talk a little bit about food too. Together, we'll also gain insight into people's cultures, traditions, ways of living, and lives around the world. I have a background in international relations and politics too, so you'll also gain knowledge on the political issues experienced by different regions. The idea is that by the end of this course, you will have a strong knowledge of world geography. You'll know where different countries are all over the world, and you'll know lots about their history and politics too, as well as the relevance of those things to the wider world order as well. This is a course I absolutely love teaching. Travel is my big thing. If you have been on my page before, you'll know that I was a lawyer for the better part of a decade. I also have more than a few university qualifications, but my big passion is travel. I have travelled all over the world, and now, much to my excitement, I get to share that passion too. First up is the Americas. We will be beginning in North America, exploring the United States and Canada, including sites like the Statue of Liberty in New York, or the Washington Monument in the United States capital city, the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, as well as natural sites like the Grand Canyon or the Rockies in Canada. We'll also touch on the history of European colonialism, how that created the societies that we have in this part of the world today. And important to this story are the indigenous, the first peoples who lived on these lands for many thousands of years before the Europeans arrived. Moving down the map, we will head to Central America, taking in places like Mexico, with its amazing pyramids, left here by the Aztecs, one of the most famous indigenous peoples of these lands. The early Maya as well, they were from this part of the world and they left us some amazing sites as well, and their land extended down into Guatemala too. Across from Central America, we'll then get to check out stunning islands in the Caribbean and the fascinating history of places like Jamaica and Cuba, my favourite part of Central America too. Moving down to South America, we will then explore the beautiful rainforests to be found in that part of the world, alongside extensive mountain ranges, and it's in this part of the world that we can find the world's highest waterfall too. There's also incredible natural scenery in this part of the world. We'll also head across to places like the Galapagos Islands, where you can see some of the most unique diversity of animal life in the world. Dancing too. Latin Americans are well known for their love of dance and their love of music as well. There is also beautiful colonial architecture to explore from an era being, and even older again are the absolutely fascinating archaeological sites left by indigenous groups like the Inca at Machu Picchu in Peru. Or travelling a little further south are archaeologically important sites like East Island off the coast of Chile. We'll be exploring all of these and more. Heading across the Atlantic, we then head to Europe, one of the great cultural capitals of the world with history at every turn. There are iconic landmarks to learn about, some of the world's most amazing art. The ancient ruins of early Western civilizations can also be found in places like Greece, or that's left by the ancient Romans too. Then there's the importance of World War II history. That cannot be understated in Europe. And as well as briefly explaining the relevance of this history, we will then also tour some of Europe's most important sites in this respect. Europe is also known for her stunning natural scenery, which includes Tuscan landscapes, highlands in places like Scotland or the Nordic countries, rivers, lakes, and mountains as well. And this part of the world is also important for Cold War era history and politics, so we'll be taking a look at that as well. After Europe, we then tackle the Middle East, the historical centre of the world. This is the place where you find our first cities and empires. There are absolutely beautiful mosques, ancient cities with fascinating archaeological sites to have a look at, and it's also the heart of many of the world's big religions too. So in these lands you can find the origins of religions like Judaism, Christianity and Islam, which were all religions born in these lands. Unfortunately, in the modern day, these are also lands where there has been lots of war. We will also talk about the importance of Middle Eastern politics, not just to this region, but also in the world more generally. Heading to Africa, our first stops are the incredible sites at Giza, the Great Pyramids of ancient Egypt, and then we'll travel down the Nile, stopping at tombs and temple sites along the way until we make it to Abu Simbel, right down in the far south of Egypt next to the border with Sudan. Then travelling across northern Africa, we'll explore Roman ruins in Libya and Algeria. We'll get to have a look at the immense and incredibly beautiful Saharan desert. And we'll also get to see marketplaces and beautiful scenery and deserts as well in Morocco too. Heading down the map, down to East Africa, the story of Lucy, the fossil of our oldest human ancestor, will be told. In South Africa, we'll explore incredible landscapes and animals. And then heading up to Central and Western Africa, we'll learn about the diversity of people's lives, the richness of cultures and languages that can be found in this part of the world. Alongside this, unfortunately, is also the story of extreme poverty. There are lots of conflicts in this part of the world, and we will explore the history and importance of knowing about these conflicts in the modern era too. Heading across to Asia, we'll begin with the Stan countries of Central Asia. Here you can find fascinating sites and history that go back to the dawn of human civilizations. It's along the Silk Roads that we'll get to see some of the early trade routes of our modern world. In South Asia, we'll take in the Taj Mahal, an incredible feat of architecture and also built for love. There are also beautiful fortresses to be seen across India, as well as the beautiful Himalayan mountain range that runs between China and India, and also where we can find Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world. En route to China, we'll stop in at Tibet, high up in the mountains, with some incredible ancient culture to explore. And then we'll head across to see amazing places like the Great Wall of China, the Forbidden City in Beijing, and we'll also stop in at Xi'an, where we can find an army of underground soldiers hidden from view for thousands of years. Below China is also one of my favourite regions of the world, Southeast Asia. In Cambodia, we'll get to explore the incredible sites at Angkor Wat and beyond. We'll get to explore ancient ruins hidden by jungle and discovered in more recent times. There are also golden palaces to see in Cambodia, alongside extraordinary places like the floating villages of the Tonle Sap, and heading down rivers to places like Battambang. We'll also explore countries around Cambodia, including Thailand, Vietnam, and Laos. Heading into the incredible mountains of Laos, for example, we will learn about hill tribes who made traditional lives there. Traditional lives that are in fact threatened by China's Belt and Road Initiative, a trade route that we will definitely talk about, and which is intended to encompass the old Silk Roads and beyond. South of Asia, there are thousands of islands to explore in places like Polynesia, Micronesia, and Melanesia. Finally then, we'll also make it down to my little corner of the world. Down in Australia and in New Zealand, you'll get to learn about the incredible cultures of our Indigenous peoples. You might be a little terrified by the creatures that make their home in Aussie, and hopefully you'll also be awed by the incredible natural beauty that can be found in this little corner of the world. It is a lot, but we have 30 classes together. Come join the adventure. This is the best virtual tour of the world that you will find online. Hope to see you soon.